Right, we're going to start with a oopsie. Although, this is what happens next. Can anybody guess the oopsie before the oopsie happens? There we go then. So one of the chains broke between the wagon and the trolley I was sitting on. It ran over itself, or it caught on the 3.5 rail, not entirely sure, one of the two, and sent the rest flying. They were okay. The second box frame, which you can't see on the other side, it's got a bit of grass decoration on it now, but it all wiped off. Nothing suffered any damage. Just mildly alarming. And then they were fine. So you'll see on the other side in a minute. But all the wagons were fine after the oopsie. And don't they look just good, rolling along together? There are more wagons in the works, but for now, a rake of 6, a train of 6. It's quite a nice little train to trundle around with, to shunt with. Let's just watch for a little bit. So the reason we brought the wagons out was we was out for a test run for my brother's big bullied diesel. It's a bit of a monster loco. It's got it's a model of bullied's diesel. They're 260 bogies. The bogies went on to be used in the class 40s in real life, but this beast has 8 motors on it, running on 24 volts. It's a heavy git. It will absolutely pull the side of a house down. So I am sat on the front trolley. The loco is just behind me, and you can see we've got 8 trolleys in tow here, plus the rake of wagons. Now the slow speed is nothing to do with the fact that the train is heavy. It's because the driver's not on board. This loco of his is radio controlled. So I went, and my brother with the remote control is standing on the bridge. Me on the loco as guard, radio driver, whatever you want to call it. And my brother will come into shot soon. But we were just out load testing. We've never put a big load on the back of it before. And it really didn't grumble at 8 trolleys plus the 6 wagons. When the weather's nicer, there he is with the controller. When the weather's nicer, we'll come back and add even more. It was a bit chilly, the ground was wet, so he was getting quite soggy, following it around and testing it out. We also had Dad's tools come home from work. Massive sets of dies, taps and dies, and milling cutters, mostly. Lots of nice measuring gear, a few really nice micrometers. And after that distraction, it was time to get back on with Bantam cock. This is her regulator body in the mill, with a centre drill, just to drill out that sheared off bolt. Now I know what everyone's going to tell me here. I'm using a drill chuck. Yes, all the shots in this and all the work on this is using a drill chuck. That is because I do not currently have a draw bolt that will hold the collet chuck in my mill. So everything I do at the moment has to be with a drill chuck, but it works. No, it's not great and there is some vibration on it, but nothing at this point matters that much. I'll get it sorted by the time we come on to doing Northumbrian cylinders and whatever, but for this, which is basically just drilling holes and fly cutting across the surface, it really doesn't matter. So there's centre drilled, and then going in with the tapping drill. Now the one shot I did forget to get, because I thought I'd hit record and I didn't, is me actually fly cutting this clean, taking out the scores, pits and marks. They were quite deep. It did take a 20 thou, a couple of runs, but up to a 20 thou off of it to clean the surface up. And then of course we needed a clearance hole in the disc itself, because we have gone up a size of bolt, because we had to drill the old one out. So now up to a 6BA bolt. I've gone for a cap headed, purely because where it's inside the dome, a little short Allen key is much easier to work said bolt than trying to get a spanner in there in between the actual movement arms. But here we go, this is putting it back together. You can see some of the other bits of Dad's tools I haven't quite tidied up yet around the edge of my temporarily smaller than normal workspace. Wow, I need to get better at editing this, don't I? But, so, I'm just loosely assembling it. I've gone to grab the regulator rod, and then you can see it all functioning. So, what needs to happen next? Well, I need a spring to go under the bolt, and I need some valve grinding paste to lap the two together. As I was working this out off camera, I noticed that when it was made originally, the two discs weren't quite in line, because the bolt hole through the disc is off centre to the steam ports. So it does look a bit wafty, but as you can see, well, as you'll probably see in this next shot if I was any good with it, when it's closed, the ports are closed. When it's open, the ports are fully lined up. So it must have been accounted for originally, which is good, because that means I haven't changed it, and it still lines up and functions as is now. So spring, valve grinding paste, new bit of copper pipe for the main steam pipe, and back together.